After all, what is the point of life if it is not lived according to your own values and vision? Life becomes meaningful not when we simply go through the motions, but when we take control and define the path we wish to walk on. It is about more than just existing. It's about building the framework where your growth, identity, and purpose can truly thrive. So the real challenge is to establish your own terms, your own standards, and to evolve with clarity in a world that often demands you be someone else. The key lies in staying true to who you are, even when everything around you tries to mold you into something you're not. So let's celebrate the strength it takes to go within and discover the courage to stand firm in the face of chaos. Let us recognize the bravery it takes to rise against conflict, adversity, and the endless pressures life brings. Every battle you face is a reminder of how much power you hold, how resilient you truly are. It's easy to forget our strength when the unknown surrounds us, but it's precisely in those moments that we must choose to define what is right now, and to shape a new version of ourselves in the process. Never let your strength be something you give away without cause. Don't allow your heart, the core of your truth and authenticity, to be left behind. Guard your thoughts, because they can easily be clouded by regret, by the haunting idea of what could have been if only you'd held on a little longer. The hardest part is often not the fight itself, but the mental battle we endure within. The regret of not giving that final push can echo louder than any external defeat. And I'm not here to pretend this is easy. In fact, the road that leads to something meaningful is almost always the most difficult one. It challenges us in ways that make us question everything: our direction, our identity, our worth. There will be moments when doubt races through your mind and fear weakens your steps. Yet it is exactly in those moments we must find the strength to continue walking, no matter what. To face your demons, look them directly in the eyes, and declare without hesitation that you will endure. That no matter the sacrifice, you are ready to give everything for what matters most. That even if nothing is left, even if you're exhausted to your core, you will still hold on. And so, the next time life tries to force you to retreat or give in, when chaos looms and dares you to surrender, remember what you're made of. Stand firm. Be bold enough, grounded enough, and determined enough to say just one thing in return: come and take it. That is the power of resolve, the will to rise when others fall, and to endure when quitting seems easier. That is your strength. Around 2011, I injured my left arm and ended up needing surgery, which limited my physical activity, especially with my upper body. It was during that time of recovery and stillness that I discovered something unexpected: my love for running. What started as a substitute for lifting weights turned into a powerful daily ritual. I began running almost every day, and those long outdoor runs became my sanctuary, place to reset, to think, to breathe. Sometimes I'd switch it up with treadmill workouts. Especially my favorite, the pyramid. This routine broke 10 minutes into 4 segments, 4, 3, 2, and 1 minute intervals, with each one increasing in intensity. Then I'd restart the cycle. Over time, this routine became more than just exercise. It became symbolic, a mental and physical challenge that pushed my limits and taught me something deeper about myself. At the end of every run or workout, I began to add a ritual that I still follow to this day. I'd always tack on an extra 22 seconds. It became a non-negotiable for me. If I planned a 30-minute run, I'd finish at 30 minutes and 22 seconds. If I said 1 hour, I'd stop at 1 or 22. I don't recall exactly when or why I started, but those 22 seconds began to mean something. It wasn't just about numbers. It was about a challenge, a symbol of pushing beyond what I thought was my limit. That final stretch, those extra seconds, reminded me that the end is never truly the end. Even when I was exhausted with the finish line in sight, I could always push just a bit more. And often, that's when the real magic happened. When you're at your limit and still find something left to give, that's when you see what you're truly made of. You could easily fall into that rhythm of doing just 22 more seconds, and then another and another. It's this amazing discovery of how powerful the human spirit is. Most of our limits are not physical, they're constructed. The truth is, we almost always have a little more to give, a little more we can endure. And here's the most important part. Real growth, the kind that transforms you, happens in that final push. It's in that extra rep, that last gasp of air, that final second when your lungs are burning and your legs feel heavy. That's where you stretch both mind and body. That's where you level up, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. Whether you're preparing for an exam, pushing through a workout, or chasing a dream, it's in those moments just beyond your limits where your potential expands. You are not the same person after that extra effort. You change. You become stronger, clearer, and more capable with every challenge you lean into. Over the years, that mindset became part of my identity. When I look in the mirror today, I see the product of those small decisions. Adding just 22 seconds may seem insignificant, but over time it changes everything. It's not about the time itself, it's about the intention. It's about becoming the kind of person who always goes a little further than expected. That habit built a mental armor, a belief system, and an unshakable confidence. things, you start to realize that the barriers we live within are mostly imaginary. Sure, we have to set limits, we have to draw lines, but don't forget those lines are often arbitrary. Things, you weren't made to stay within them, you were made to stretch them, to challenge them, to break them. And yes, that's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to test you, but it's always worth it. The strength to do just a little more, to push past where others stop, is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. That extra 22 seconds, it belongs to you, it always has. Things, you just have to decide if you're willing to claim it. Which brings me to a more personal reflection. If I know I am the kind of person who fights for those extra seconds, things, if I know that's what I'm capable of, then why have there been times when I didn't even want to try? Because there have been many things. Moments when my actions didn't align with who I believed myself to be. Let me tell you a quick story, one that marked a turning point in my life. It was in these moments of contrast, things between what I knew I was capable of and what I was actually doing, that I came to understand something powerful about reaching for more. Often people ask me about my process, how I plan things, how I build, and where I see myself in the future. And the answer always comes back to this, the extra 22 seconds, the space beyond comfort. The moment when everything says stop, things, and you decide to go anyway. I often tell people that I'm playing the long game. I've made peace with the idea of sacrificing short-term wins today in exchange for a long vision I believe in with all my heart. It's a vision I know will one day shift from being linear to exponential in its growth and impact. It reminds me of something Gary Vaynerchuk often says, that when you're young, you have time, and real success isn't about reaching the top at 34. It's about flourishing and thriving at 45, 55, 65, and it's real joy, not quick validation, but the deeper things, more meaningful evolution over time. That's the game that excites me. That's the game I want to play. But sticking to a long-term plan isn't always easy. It's a disciplined and methodical approach, and as you stay the course, you're constantly tested by distractions. Along the journey, things, you'll see countless shiny objects calling out to you, people who seem to be winning, paths that look easier or more glamorous, opportunities that look tempting. And sometimes, things, you might find yourself questioning your own direction, wondering, should I be doing that instead? It worked for her, will it work for me? That doubt creeps in, and with it, the temptation to pivot or chase something that's not truly aligned with you. It's easy to forget to trust your inner compass. A few years ago, I faced exactly that kind of pressure. I started to feel this internal and external push to adjust my focus, to pivot away from what I loved and toward what the world was telling me made more sense. Things, I had been speaking to mentors who were thriving in their respective careers, people I deeply respected. Their advice was well-meaning. Things, and I thought to myself, maybe it's time to shift away from the art, the craft, and focus instead on monetizing it. After all, that's what success is supposed to look like, right? Revenue, scalability, and the business side of things. And yes, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, things, it's often necessary and even healthy, but only when it's done in alignment with who you truly are. So I dove into that new direction. Things, I found myself living in this high-priced condo on the beach, a place I had chosen to impress potential clients. I began producing content and products that didn't really excite me. Things, I was having conversations I didn't want to have, investing time in relationships and networks that didn't feel authentic. Things. My life started to look more and more like someone else's version of success and less like my own. Somewhere along the way, I had lost myself. Things, my passion has always been storytelling, capturing life's hidden beauty and overlooked moments. That's what wakes me up in the morning. That's what lights the fire within. And when that's gone, the whole structure starts to collapse. Don't get me wrong, money matters. It provides freedom, security, and opportunity. Things, but if the pursuit of money becomes the driving force, detached from meaning and purpose, it starts to erode everything that made the work fulfilling in the first place. That's what happened to me. Things. I realize that when I'm not aligned with what I love, when the work no longer reflects my soul, I lose the motivation to fight for that extra inch. I lose the will to push through the hard days. Things. And when that fire's gone, the whole point of striving vanishes with it. That's the moment you know something's got to change. I was in that place of misalignment. I was living a life that looked successful from the outside but felt hollow on the inside. I broke the lease. Things, I packed my things into a car and went off on a 3-month journey to rediscover my alignment. I realigned with what mattered most to me. Things, because if I'm not willing to suffer just a little for what I'm building, if I'm not willing to go that extra 22 seconds in the gym or on the page, things are in life, then I know it's not the right path for me. And while that was a big dramatic example, this principle applies in so many smaller, everyday ways too. The truth is, things, you are someone capable of chasing down the beauty in life. You have what it takes to take that extra bit of effort and transform it into something powerful. But to do that, things, you need to position yourself and your environment in a way that allows that potential to come alive. And here's the crucial part when you no longer feel that inner hunger. Things, when the fire inside has gone cold, it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you failed or that you lack drive. It means something in your environment or your alignment is off. And that's fixable. That can be adjusted. You're not defective. You're just misdirected. And once you find what stirs your soul, the effort will return. The fire will reignite. The drive will once again become second nature. You've been through so much already. You've overcome more than you realize. There were moments when you thought you had nothing left, but somehow you kept going. There were times when pain tried to break you, but you kept moving forward. You picked up the pieces when things fell apart. You rebuilt things. We aren't taught in school how resilient we truly are. No one sits us down and says, hey, you know you've been stopping just shy of your full potential over and over again. Right. No one tells us that we often quit just before the breakthrough, that we've been living at 30% of our capacity. But a strong purpose, a reason to stretch and push changes everything. That kind of focus transforms your life. And this isn't motivational fluff, it's real. If you want something you've never had, you have to be willing to go somewhere you've never gone. It's not about huge, overwhelming changes either. It's about small steps, tiny discomforts, micro challenges that slowly expand your world. You take one extra breath, one extra second. One extra push, and then another. Before you know it, you're looking back at miles traveled. You see how far you've come. You meet a version of yourself you never knew was waiting. It was never just about those 22 seconds. It was about the consistent effort, the sustained attempt to chip away at the walls you built around yourself. The cracks you made each day led to the eventual crumble. That's the breakthrough. That's the evolution. And now let's draw a new line right here, right now. A line of transformation. The line that separates the old you from who you're becoming. A line that marks your return not to the past, but to a fresh start. A return to your power, your courage, your sense of purpose. What we often forget is that there are beliefs and thoughts buried deep within us that silently shape how we live. These subconscious beliefs whisper lies like, you failed yesterday, so you'll probably fail today too. They convince us to lower our aim, to settle for comfort over greatness. They say let's just stay safe here in this little box. But the thing those beliefs fear most is awareness. The moment you become conscious of their presence, you begin to take back your power. You stop living by default and start living by design. The second you realize that yesterday's story only has the power you give it, everything changes. You start breaking chains. You become unshackled. You begin to live with curiosity again. You stop performing and start living with purpose. Yes, it's hard. It's uncomfortable to question the life you've been living. I had to do it myself. I had to look at the story I was living and ask, is this truth or just what I've accepted? For so long, I followed invisible rules. I was obedient to norms that didn't serve me. I forgot what it meant to live fully, to be creative, to chase wonder. I had to unlearn guilt. I had to stop feeling bad for going for a walk when the world was grinding. I had to realize my instincts had been to stop short, not to stretch beyond. Because I wasn't peeking into the mystery of life. I was playing it safe. Life had called me back, and when you ignore your potential for too long, the universe gets louder. It taps your shoulder. It won't let you stay asleep. That call gets more intense every day until you face it, until you're backed into a corner and have to finally choose, who am I really? You've been following orders for too long. It's time to stop obeying a script that isn't yours. It's time to return to your greatness, to own it, not run from it. You are exactly what you choose to be. And too often we choose less, we play small, we settle. But your reality isn't fixed. It's shaped by what you allow. It's not about fate or luck. It's about the limits you've accepted. And the moment you understand that this world only gives you what you're bold enough to ask for, you step out of the stands and onto the court. Because watching life from the sidelines is not your destiny. Living halfway is not your story. You're not here to spectate. You're here to rise. Living without purpose is simply existing. It's not truly living. So start asking life for the things that ignite your spirit, the things that elevate your experience beyond mere survival. One of the most powerful metaphors I carry with me is the image of a blank page, like the fresh sheet of a book not yet written. Each new moment allows you to write anything you desire. There are no restrictions, no predetermined paths. You hold the pen, and with that comes unlimited potential. Often we feel compelled to continue the narrative of our past, to replay the same roles, the same identities, the same storylines. But that's not a requirement. In fact, with that pen in hand, you can construct an entirely new world, one filled with new destinations, ideas, relationships, and challenges. A blank page doesn't just offer freedom, it offers reinvention, and every sunrise, every new opportunity, every open door presents that same blank page to you. There is no requirement to carry the weight of yesterday into the dawn of today. You are not obligated to continue walking the same path you've always known. This day belongs to you. Claim it. Embrace that part of yourself you've kept hidden for far too long. Find the courage to break free from the version of yourself that others have come to expect, whether it's your friends, your teammates, or your coworkers. This is your time to rise. You owe no one an explanation for becoming who you truly are. You weren't born to blindly conform. thing to obey rules that don't align with your soul or to fit inside a mold someone else designed for you. You're here to disrupt, to discover, to explore things. You're here to follow that restless pull inside you that craves more than routine. Life is not about settling, it's about embarking on the grand adventure of self-discovery. Things. And the moment you realize that your past doesn't own you, that who you were yesterday doesn't get to dictate who you are today, that's the moment you become truly free, with your eyes wide open. Things, your heart pounding with anticipation and your head held high, step boldly into the unknown. Because when you choose to live with conviction, with the deep, things, unwavering belief that life may be chaotic and unpredictable, but is still working in your favor, then every experience, no matter how challenging, becomes a building block. Things. It's not about being perfect, it never was. It's about realizing that your past was never meant to chain you. It was meant to prepare you. The struggles, the failures, things, the setbacks, they weren't meant to define you. They were designed to strengthen you. Every bruise, every lesson, every stumble has brought you to this very moment, the chance to rise. It's to reclaim the greatness that's been buried beneath doubt and fear. No tricks, no miracles, no magic required. Just you stepping forward, embracing your strength, things, daring to believe that you already have what it takes to become who you were meant to be. So show the world, but more importantly, show yourself. Things, watch what happens when you finally permit yourself to shine. Witness the transformation that unfolds when you stop shrinking and start owning your light. Things. You'll be amazed at the possibilities that begin to reveal themselves when you stop waiting and start believing, when you let your past illuminate your path instead of obscure your vision. Things, before anyone else sees it, you have to see it. Before they believe it, you must believe it. You are the architect of your future, the only one who can design the life you dream of. Things. No one else is going to build it for you. And that's the truth of it in a world where blame is popular and victimhood is trending. You're presented with a choice. You can either escape temporarily or you can build a life that truly matters. It's far easier, isn't it, to look outward and place blame on everything around you, to avoid the mirror, things, to avoid the discomfort of accountability. It's easier to resent others, to envy their success, to imagine all the ways your life would be better if not for this person or that situation. Things. In the short term, this mindset feels like a win. You get to avoid the tough stuff. You don't have to reflect. You don't have to take responsibility. You just sit back, relax, and point fingers. Things. Look what they made me do, you say, if only things were different. But here's what no one tells you every time you place blame elsewhere. You're abandoning your own growth. Things. Because accountability, yes, that uncomfortable, painful process is the only road to transformation. It's the bridge that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. Think about how your muscles grow. You push them to their limits, break them down, and through that stress, they rebuild stronger. The same applies to your mindset, your resilience, and your integrity. Personal responsibility cannot be the muscle you neglect. It's too important. It's the foundation of meaning. It's the tool that gives your life structure and direction. Ignore it, things, and you'll drift. Build it, and you'll rise. I remember being in 8th grade, sitting in class with Mr. Boncourt. He walked to the front of the room, things, hands raised like he was holding something precious. You can't go through life begging for scraps, he said. That moment stuck with me. Things. If you sit around waiting, hoping someone or something will rescue you, then you will lose. That is the formula for bitterness and regret. Life presents you with a fork in the road. Things. On one side lies escape, avoiding problems, blaming others, living in fear and envy. On the other side lies the hard road, facing your pain, taking control, humbling yourself. Things. Doing the uncomfortable work of change. You get to choose which road you take, and if you've ended up somewhere you don't want to be, start by asking, what can I do to turn this around? One of my favorite expressions of this idea came from Will Smith. He said it perfectly. You don't get to choose where you start. Life isn't fair. Things. Some people are born with advantages. Others struggle from the beginning. That's just how it is. There will always be differences, always be challenges. But what happens next, that's on you. Things. That's your responsibility. That's your power. You decide if you're going to stand still and curse the sky or take those broken pieces and rebuild. And don't get distracted by the easy way out. Things. Don't cling to the illusion that avoidance is freedom. Real freedom comes from facing your demons. It's like being in the passenger seat of a car. You can complain about the route all you want, things, but unless you're the one driving, you're not in control. So when will you take the wheel of your own life? When will you stop waiting for permission and start making your own map? Things, because once you're in control, the stakes rise. Now, you're responsible. Now, you're in charge of the journey. If you get lost, that's on you. If you're late, if you miss the destination, it's your responsibility. And that's not a burden. That's your gift.